Tuesday, September 2nd, I return to Siriusxm with my own show, the Stephen A. Smith Show.
She then goes on to say, I don't respect him, talking about Stephen A. I don't respect his work. He doesn't like me. This goes back to the Ray Rice stuff. He made some really piggish comments on the air. I responded. He got suspended for like 2 weeks. I think that was sort of the beginning of the end for anything. That is where I disagree with her. I thought she was very unfair to Stephen A. Smith in that situation. Mm-hmm. The guy misspoke. He's trying to make some nuanced point. That's not his strength, but, very piggish. That's over the top. It was an opportunity for her to build her brand. She took that shot at Stephen A. Smith. Hear me, I'm woman, hear me roar. This was at the height of girl power in the sports media world, or at the very beginning of it.
Jason Whitlock reacts to Michelle Beadle beefing with Stephen A. Smith. Check out what he had to say, and then I'll come back with my comments.
Stephen A. Smith has a second new job or a third new job.
Getting to the money.
He's doing, obviously he'll do First Take in the morning. Now in the midday, he's doing a Siriusxm show. Then he still has his YouTube show. But his Siriusxm show apparently is going to replace what Michelle Beadle was doing on Siriusxm. And she's not real happy about it. She's upset with Siriusxm. Let's play Stephen A. Smith's announcement first. This is Stephen A. Smith, SOT number 3.
Yeah, I don't know why Michelle Beadle is upset. Numbers never lie. If Stephen A. Smith can command an audience, he has a relationship with Sirius. Whatever show you had going on during that time slot, they got to go. Got to make room for Stephen A. Smith.
Are you ready to make your big announcement?
Tuesday, September 2nd, I return to Siriusxm with my own show, the Stephen A. Smith Show. I'm coming back to Siriusxm. I'll be on Mad Dog. I'll be on Mad Dog Sports Radio, leading into Mad Dog 1 to 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time every weekday. Mad Dog comes on 3 to 6, and then the re-air of my show from 6 to 8 follows his show as well. So you'll hear me on Siriusxm Mad Dog Radio, and I'm also having my own political show, social commentary, call it whatever you want, or likely on POTUS, on the POTUS channel. Once a week, starting that's on Siriusxm, the POTUS channel, Siriusxm.
Is this a multi-year deal with Siriusxm? It is.
Yes, it is.
Is it an exclusive deal? The only place we can get Stephen A. Smith for these shows is right here at Siriusxm.
That is correct, on audio.
Look at this.
Yeah, that's a good move for Stephen A. Smith. He already got the deal with ESPN, 5 years, $100 million plus, reportedly. And then he got this deal with Siriusxm. I seen his podcast, look like he got a lot of M's for that as well. So the Stephen A. Smith show that we're seeing, the visual on YouTube, I guess there's going to be an audio version, and then maybe he'll upload clips from the show to his YouTube channel, and I'm sure he'll have a video version like he's doing now with the Stephen A. Smith show. So Stephen A. Smith getting to the money, can't hate on it.
I want to, before we get even into Michelle Beadle, Steve, any chance here that Stephen A. Smith is overexposing himself?
Yeah, sometimes less is more. And his political show should be called Flip Flop. He seems to do that a lot. So, yeah, sometimes less is more. And I'm sure you've been in this position, Jason, when you're offered a lot of gigs, you're the hot name. Don't you run out of things to say sometimes? And sometimes you find yourself repeating yourselves in the same day. And I'm like, look, I'm good. A lot of people want to hear what I have to say. I don't know, Jason and TJ, if they want to hear what I have to say over and over and over again.
Well, we're in the content age, so you got to strike while the iron's hot. If they're going to give me multiple millions to do various podcasts and different shows and executive produce, you got to get to it. So if you're Stephen A., yeah, you may be overexposed, oversaturating the market, but if they want to continue to pay you these millions of dollars, I don't blame them for making these random shows and getting to the money.
Overexposure, TJ?
Oh, yeah, I mean, absolutely. But look, you got to have a lot of substance to be overexposed, too. If he's already just making things up, why not just make up a few more things? That is actually what I think about
He's
Stephen
fooling
A.
the people.
That he's not sitting there putting tons and tons of thought into everything he's talking about. He's flying off, whatever, off the cuff. Here's the thing. Listening to him talk about politics is one of the most entertaining things that you can do today. Sit down and listen to him try to dive into politics. He doesn't even know the terms yet. This guy's acting like he knows how to be president. I can't remember off the top of my head, but I have listened to him recently, and he's throwing out terms like, oh, you don't even know how to talk about politics. You don't even know the basic terminology.
I think it's on-the-job training, and I say that in all seriousness. This is why he's on every day, everywhere. Not just his own platforms. He's constantly, here he is with Howard Stern. Here he is yesterday with Megyn Kelly. Here he is today with Patrick Bet-David. He not just his own shows, he's on every show. I've never seen anybody do this much media, and it makes me like, when is he not talking?
Yeah, it makes sense on the political end. He said it plenty of times. He's not a political pundit. He just likes to have these conversations, and he's open to learning. So it is good that he's going on these different platforms, Patrick Bet-David, Fox programming, CNBC programming, whichever different outlets he can go to and have these conversations. It's good that he's building up his cachet and just his knowledge on politics. So I give Stephen A. Smith that. He be spewing out different random stuff, flip-flopping, but at least he's having these open conversations with the left and the right.
As someone like myself that values my alone time and time when I'm not talking, obviously Stephen A. and I are completely different, but
Definitely.
I'm like, man, this guy's got 2 kids. When is he not on camera talking, and does he not have any self-awareness that camera requires a performance, and a performance requires an inauthentic version of yourself, and he just seems to be doing more and more of it, I just don't know, what could he say for 2 hours on First Take, 2 hours on Siriusxm, an hour on his own show, and it seems like an hour to 2 hours doing various other shows every day.
I'll give you an example. But again, I'm on the record now. He's already overexposed. So
yeah, again, I get it. You're overexposed. What are you going to say on First Take for 2 hours? What are you going to say on the Stephen A. Smith show for 2 hours? What are you going to say on this political show for another 2 hours? I get it. What is he going to say? But as long as he's able to command the audience, throw out a bunch of stuff, have these bold takes to where he's collaborating with other creators, he's going to lean on those people. A lot of contributors on the political side and on his sports shows, he's going to have various guests. So he already has access to everybody at ESPN. He has access to people outside of ESPN and other type of shows politically and in sports. So he'll never run out of stuff to talk about. And worst case scenario, he'll just be that voice, have that open panel, and just have people speak their opinion. So he'll never run out of content as long as he has access to all of these people.
Can he overexpose himself anymore? I don't know. You've done a pretty good job exposing him here. He's pretty overexposed. All right. But guests. Stephen A. can get any guest he wants.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And he'll sit on Siriusxm all day long and have the same conversation with new people that give him new ways to look at things and explore the conversation.
Exactly. Just have a bunch of guests, Kendrick Perkins and Monica McNutt, whoever. The same people that he'll have. Have those people on First Take, and then they're going to join his show an hour later on the Stephen A. Smith show. And then on the political side, he'll have people from Fox. He'll have people from MSNBC. So he's going to have a full lineup of people. Same thing he's doing on the Stephen A. Smith show. That's the format. That's the blueprint. Same way he has guests, he'll have it over on the SiriusXM side, the audio side. So again, he's a content house. He's never going to run out.
Yeah, he doesn't have to do all the talking. You're absolutely right. He can do a guest-heavy show. I don't think he's a great interviewer, but I don't know. Steve, your thoughts?
Well, I always thought Cam Harris was the most inept, most unintelligent, least qualified presidential candidate in years. Think about this. Stephen A. is probably even all of that and more, but at least on his behalf, he will speak to the media on a regular basis, unlike she did. So there are some pluses and minuses with that whole dynamic.
Makes sense.
I want to read you Michelle Beadle's statement that it's a tweet she put out mocking Stephen A. Smith. In fairness, we do need more coverage of Jamal Williams. I think she's referencing Jalen Williams, who plays for OKC, but Stephen called him Jamal. And other fun facts. She then goes on to say, I don't respect him, talking about Stephen A. I don't respect his work. He doesn't like me. This goes back to the Ray Rice stuff. He made some really piggish comments on the air. I responded. He got suspended for like 2 weeks. I think that was sort of the beginning of the end for anything. I just don't respect him. I think he gets things wrong all the time. I'm not talking about opinions. Those can never be wrong. But factually, when you spread yourself so thin, it's hard to be right, not a fan. Any sympathy for Michelle Beadle, who found out live on air or from Stephen A. Smith that she was getting replaced?
Yeah, no sympathy. They got beef, and this is what it is, man. Money talks. Your presence is going to talk. These executives, these business people, they want to know who's going to command the biggest audience. So Michelle Beadle, she may be a great employee for Sirius, but if you got Stephen A. Smith, used to be there at SiriusXM, has great relationships there. They're seeing the numbers he's doing on his own podcast and his own platforms, and then the numbers that he's doing on ESPN and First Take, NBA Countdown, and various other programming. Of course, whatever Michelle is doing, we'll bump you out your time slot. We'll let you keep your show, but you're going to have to either come in a little bit early or stay a little bit late in order to have a show on Sirius. So I don't feel bad for her. If you're going to beef with me, you're going to take whatever I said about Ray Rice out of context, get me suspended. The beef is always going to be there. It's always going to be up on Stephen A. Smith. And so, hey, I ain't mad at him. Regardless of what you think about Stephen A. Smith, he won the beef versus Michelle Beadle.
Well, typical white liberal woman. They love diversity till it impacts them.
Exactly.
But yeah, I mean, she makes some good points, but man, she is
What
bitter.
it is, man.
Bitter.
Any sympathy for Michelle here?
I mean, no, but she's not wrong about anything. But do I feel bad for her? No, and it is extremely. Is she single? I think she's a single.
Yes, I think still maybe not. Who
And
knows?
she's coming up on 50. I
think she's past that, but go ahead.
Okay. It's very on brand to bring up something that happened in 2014 and say this all stems from something that happened 11 years ago that I have not let go of.
And that is where I disagree with her. I thought she was very unfair to Stephen A. Smith. You're right. She's 49. My bad. But yeah, I think she was very unfair to Stephen A. Smith in that situation. Mm-hmm. The guy misspoke. He's trying to make some nuanced point. That's not his strength, but very piggish. That's over the top. It was an opportunity for her to build her brand. She took that shot at Stephen A. Smith. Hear me, I'm woman, hear me roar. This was at the height of girl power in the sports media world, or at the very beginning of it.
This is when, talk about overplaying your hand. She may have been the first person to ever overplay her hand so much that she did it at a time where she thought women were ascending and she could do no wrong. She boycotted watching the NFL on a show that you had to watch the NFL to do, and has since not been relevant for 1 microsecond.
Yeah, Michelle, she overplayed her hand. Thought she was going to be carried by the women empowerment movement. Didn't know Stephen A. Smith would elevate from 2014 till now. The hundreds of $1 million he got, brand deals, sponsorships, own programming, production company. So he's doing his thing right now. So if you're Michelle Beadle, I don't blame her for being upset, for carrying that beef, but at the same time, you got to move past that, because Stephen A. Smith, he may feel a certain way about you, but he's not going to address you, and he's going to keep elevating. So it is what it is, Michelle. You lost the beef. You lost your time slot. Hopefully you still got your show, but hey, it's Stephen A. Smith's turn to take over SiriusXM. They got a lot of money invested into him, so of course, if he has a specific time slot, it's going to have to work with his schedule. He doesn't want to get off of ESPN First Take and then have a show at 6 p.m. Everything has to be consecutive with him to kind of clear out his schedule, just in case he has obligations for ESPN on the nighttime. Like, you got football coming up, basketball finishing up, and it's going to start back up again in October. So he's going to need that nighttime, that from 6 p.m. until 10 or 11 p.m. He needs that time slot for ESPN to contribute to other programming. So again, Michelle, it is what it is. You lost the beef. Stop complaining and step your content up.